Tomb Raider 2 was always one of my favourite games growing up, and when I heard that this guy was doing a remake, it really sparked my interest. He wanted to make the game a lot like Tomb Raider Anniversary, which would make sense. Tomb Raider Anniversary is a remake of Tomb Raider 1, but not a straight remake like you would think of games such as Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid 2's HD remake was more of an upscale rather than remaking the entire game. Tomb Raider Anniversary was more of a reimagined Tomb Raider 1 rather than a straight remake. This meant that the developer could remove aspects of the original game that were tedious and annoying, but also add things in that would benefit the player. In this video, I'd like to see how Tomb Raider 2 squares up to this guy's reimagined version of the game. I'd just like to preface though, he has only released a demo so far, so there isn't much to go by other than the first level. However, there's more than enough content to get an idea of where this project is going, so let's get right into it. The second you open the game, the first thing that you'll notice is the reimagined menu along with the remastered music. First thing that went through my head when I opened this was thank fucking God! The original menu was good for the time, but looking back on it from a modern day perspective, it's very... yeah. The new menu layout was clearly very inspired by the later Tomb Raider releases, including Tomb Raider Anniversary, which I guess I'm going to be mentioning a lot. As I said at the start, it is only a demo and only a few things are actually functional. From the get-go, you can't go to Croft Manor, however you can look at a new reward screen that has been added to the game. As the game is loading, you get a chance to catch up with some of the story of the game, and then you get this. I wasn't expecting the developer to actually make cutscenes for this demo, but good job. The cutscenes are great, especially when compared to the 1997 cutscenes, but it also doesn't show anything extra, which is good because that tells me that the game is going to follow the same direction as Tomb Raider 2, rather than some made-up story thing. Upon arrival in the first zone, I immediately know exactly where I am and rush straight to see the helicopter flying overhead. I was not let down. Now, aside from a few map changes at the start of the game, I did notice one thing that kind of bothered me. Upon entering the water in Tomb Raider 2, you are immediately greeted with a tiger who tries to, well, tiger you. However, in this game, the tiger doesn't come till much later, which I thought was either a very weird design choice or maybe just a bug. Not too sure on that one. When I got my first checkpoint in the game, I realised that this was going to be amazing. See, Tomb Raider 2 didn't have a checkpoint system. You were expected to save the game manually, which it doesn't tell you, as with a lot of old games. Looking back on it as a child, I never really had many issues with this, but playing the game recently, I definitely struggled with having to save every time I did something interesting. Oh, you went through a door? Save. Oh, you did a thing? Save. It does tend to take you out of the gameplay quite a lot, which is why the checkpoint system is a really good thing in my books. In the original Tomb Raider 2, once you get into this castle, you're expected to pull the lever, which you can't actually do because the floor falls from underneath you. The remake handles things a little bit differently, giving you a new area to explore, which ultimately ends up with you, yes, falling through the ground. Even though it does change the gameplay only a small bit, it is a very big change from the original game, which has a random trap for no real reason. After you've completed the puzzle in this area, you're greeted with a cutscene. Seeing everything happen like this, I thought, this better not be a quick time event. Something which is seen quite a lot in the newer games, and a lot of people, myself included, really fucking hate them. Oh no, a quick time event. No, don't end the game with a quick time event. That's worse than the first game. Fortunately, that wasn't the case with this game, so we can move on. More of that remastered music goodness! For real though, the guy that remade the music in this game, good job, you did good. You're then placed into this new area which is kinda weird. All you have to do is run across this bridge, which I guess is to take in a little bit of the scenery, and then you go into another area which has a random skeleton? I don't know, maybe it adds depth or something. I'm not a game designer. Now the auto-targeting in this game is again taken from the later Tomb Raider titles, but it does make this section rather easy. I'm not saying that it's supposed to be the most difficult thing in the world, but when the camera immediately snaps to the next enemy after killing one, it does take a lot of the fun out of it. In the original Tomb Raider, the weapon controls were far from perfect, but it did mean that you had to jump around a lot and backflip and juke your enemies quite a bit just to get away from them. It also didn't immediately snap to the next enemy once one had been killed. In the original, you had to stop shooting and then start shooting again in order to switch targets, otherwise you'd just be shooting a corpse. It is only a small change, but it was something that I noticed. Okay, now, the next area. This area was so bland in Tomb Raider 2. What you're expected to do in the original game is to dive into the water, swim to your right, grab the key, swim back up, climb the wall, and off you go. There was also a tiger that attacked you when you jumped out the water, but we'll get back to him in a second. Now in the remade version, as soon as I jumped into the water, I expected to swim right, grab the key, and then leave. That wasn't the case. The guy remade it so that the key was in a different place. And I'm so happy he did. I mean, the key wasn't moved far, but it was moved to a more realistic setting. I mean, the original was just kind of a random cave with a key in it. Now, in the original Tomb Raider 2, when you exit the water, you're immediately attacked by a tiger. Now, this didn't happen exactly how I thought it would in the remake. I got out of the water, expected a tiger to appear, and nothing really happened. Feeling a little bit let down, I decided, sod it, maybe they'll add it in later. And then I moved forward a little bit, and oh, Jesus, fuck! Motherfucking tiger just jumped straight out of the trees and tries to murder you. I'm not gonna lie, I played through this game like 2 or 3 times and it made me jump every time. I actually learned on like my 2nd or 3rd playthrough that the tiger can swim now. And he doesn't let up either, he'll still kick your ass underwater. I then tried to climb the rocks to get out of this area like you do in the original game, but it didn't work. Assuming that the developer changed it again, I turned around and tried to find an alternate route. And I did, there's a cave and oh Jesus fuck! This guy added in another tiger! After killing the first one, this one's a little bit easier to take down and I went in the cave and he's not really guarding much. I thought it would have been another way forward as opposed to the original way, but all there was a small med kit and some flares. After finding where I'm supposed to go, you're greeted with this new area. Pretty interesting. There's some stuff you got to slide on. There's a boulder that falls. There's a skeleton that fell through a hole apparently. Then we get back on track with the original game and climbing back on the wall, getting back onto the wall. Now we're in a section I know all about. Now this section in the original Tomb Raider, all you had to do was kill a few spiders, climb up a ladder, grab a key and open a door. When this section was remade, he decided to make it a little bit more interesting. In this game, you're supposed to climb up a ladder where you're greeted by a skeleton wrapped in cobwebs. The game prompts you to free aim, and when doing so, your immediate instinct is to shoot the big spider web on the skeleton. Then when you do this, you get ambushed by a million fucking spiders. I'm not even joking, there is a shit ton of spiders in this section and they hurt. This area is clearly a take on the area in the first game, just made a bit more interesting. Now, I was a little bit disappointed by the next area. I always remember this spot from Tomb Raider 2 because the noise that the blades make when they're shooting kinda make a song. For whatever reason, the developer decided not to put this into the remake, which is kinda disappointing. When that area is completed, you're faced with a falling floor that has spikes underneath it, then some falling boulders, then some more walls that crush you, then another floor that breaks, then some fucking knives on the floor, and then another room where shit tries to crush you. It's not fun. This part used to make me scream more than I care to admit when I was a child. But all we get in the remake is one floor that falls away. Kinda disappointing. The next room with the Jade Dragon does collapse on you afterwards. You don't really have to think on your toes as much as you do in the first game. Especially with Tomb Raider 2's save mechanic. If you fuck this up, you gotta go back to whenever you last saved. Which takes me on to another bit that was also missing from the remake. Now, I do know that this demo shouldn't be taken as the final cut of this level, as more could be added and some could be taken away for the actual release. But in Tomb Raider 2, the location of the Gold Dragon secret is guarded by, well, 2 dinosaurs. At first I was kind of upset because I didn't actually get any dinosaurs in this game. It has to be noted that this game does only have 2 dragon statues rather than 3 that are in the original Tomb Raider. And the one that is missing, you guessed it, the gold one. Which kind of gives me hope that the developer will eventually add dinosaurs to this game. And come on dude, the fucking dinosaurs. However, for now, all that we get in the remade version of the game is this new puzzle. This new puzzle is very challenging actually. It was a lot harder than I thought it would be. It did take me a few attempts and I did get kind of frustrated when I first played it, but the difficulty of this puzzle does give me hope. I mean, if this guy can get me screaming at the puzzle at the end of the first level, then I can't wait to play the later ones. Once you've completed this puzzle, it does take you to the end of the level and thus the end of the demo. It should be noted again that the end of the level in this demo is completely different from the ending of Tomb Raider 2. At the end of Tomb Raider 2, after the bit with the dinosaurs, you take a zip line down, you kill a tiger, and then you go in a room and there's a monk. Boom, you did it, fantastic cutscene. Woo! However, in the demo version, you just kind of do a small jumping thing and then you get knocked into some water. I'm presuming in the final cut of this game that won't be the end of the level, but I feel like he ended it this way prematurely just to kind of tease everybody a little bit. In conclusion, overall this demo does look very promising. Aside from the playable demo released to the public, he has released video of other levels that he has made, one of which including 40 Fathoms. 40 Fathoms is a level that I fucking hated as a child. I think it was this level alone that actually made me scared of water. It's disorienting, it's black, there's sharks, you die if you don't know where you're going. It's fucked. They even spawned you facing the wrong way just to really fuck you up. So if I can be just as scared of this guy's remake of 40 Fathoms as I can of the original, then it's a fucking 10. But yeah, this is somewhat of a different video from me. Kind of had fun doing it, so we'll see. I'll put a link in the description to the website of this game. It's got loads more than I actually showed in the video, like pictures and models and things like that. But yeah, that's it from me. I hope this video wasn't as crap as I thought it might be. There's going to be a link to some of my other crap that I do somewhere. Please watch it, I'm poor. But yeah, thanks for watching, and maybe I'll do some more videos like this in the future.